All right, everybody. Join me on the call now, Mr. Spencer Berry, joining us live from Nashville, Tennessee. He's been with us for a couple months and slow to start, and he'll talk about it, but excited now. The past 4 weeks, nearly 40,000 submit, back-to-back 13K submit weeks. And he's got an interesting background from a lot of different entrepreneurial ventures he's been in. Like many of us, we've been seeking, hoping, wanting to find the thing that we could put our passion into and our energy and our zest for life and our goals and to accomplish big things, and only to be let wanting more when that thing crashes, dies, or just doesn't work out. And now he's found his home, like many of us. 364 agents this week, nearly 700 agents this month. Mr. Spencer Berry joining us now. How you doing today, buddy?
Hey, happy to be here, man. Happy to be here. And I love that you say that this is home, because I truly have found like a family here. Some of the people that are in this are truly like family to me now, helping me out so much.
I agree. It's interesting, like how that is, right? And you get thrown into, like, think about school, right? You get thrown in a classroom of people, and it's picked by who lives in your neighborhood. But there's people in your class who are also trying to get a degree or whatever. And now you think about here, and you don't get to pick who's in your class, right? You don't get to pick. They're just in your class.
Yeah.
And because they live in your neighborhood, or they have a similar degree that you want. But you come here and it's like, okay, so everybody here wants to accomplish something huge, wants to take care of their family, wants to protect others, wants to make a lot of money, wants to become the best versions of themselves. And it's interesting how that works out, that you start to go, hey, I really actually like you. I don't know you at all. You live 10 states away from me. We have nothing in common outside of this business, but now all of a sudden we talk the same, we think the same. And it's pretty amazing how that can filter and drive your life. But let's dial it back a little bit. And I'd love for you to share with us, Spencer, about how you were introduced to FFL, some of your background.
Definitely. So Grady, I just want to first honor you, because I know that's just a big thing in my life. I just want to thank you so much for paving the way for everybody that's on this call, for us to be able to go out and, help protect families, change our families' lives. I just appreciate that so much. But for me, I got introduced to this. I was actually running a marketing company, marketing branding organization that's what actually made me move to Nashville. I ended up merging my company with a talent agency out here. A lot of stuff happened, ended up getting out of that as soon as COVID hit. And my roommate at the time, Josh, was in this, and he gave me, I expressed a little bit of interest into FFL. And a week later, he told me that he had a ticket for me for conference. And I was like, all right. Guess we're going to Arizona for conference.
That's right.
Yeah. So it was, that was a huge experience for me. If you have not already, go ahead and get that ticket. I think it's like fflconvention.com or something like that. It is a huge thing. And that put in perspective for me, I'm not super special by any means. And a lot of the people at convention that were on stage, they had similar background to me, or just, were average people making a lot of money. And that's what really got me very intrigued with this, was I really thought that I could do this.
Yeah, I agree. Talk about belief Josh had. What a closer. You can't, I mean, hey, there's a great line. It's, if you have infinite patience for a worthwhile prospect, and it's worth making an infinite investment into a worthwhile prospect, and seeing you and him caring about you and wanting you to do well, buy you a ticket it's a good close. It's clearly it's working well for you and for what you're doing here. But that's advice to everyone out there who is interested in building an agency in capacity. If you've got someone who you want to get over the bar, get them to an event. We do a good job at putting on and out the guff and making it seem real. So background, you had, this incredible marketing story you just gave me, but what were the other things that you did prior to or in tandem with that? So people, the relatable stuff.
Definitely. So went to college, ended up dropping out of college because I just wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be. Partied a little too much. After that, I ended up working with a church as the event coordinator for about 2.5 years. And while I was doing that, that's where my whole entrepreneurship journey kind of started. I worked in a couple different MLMs with Taboo, which was the travel, and Euphoria, which was DNA vitamins. And just never found a home. I could hire 10 people none of them make any.
You didn't make any money. Let's just be, that's not a home. You didn't make any money. Okay.
Exactly.
Not at home. A bunch of people
I
wanting to
could,
hang out and take you to Applebee's and buy you,
that's
boneless chicken
it.
wings so you stay on auto ship. Everyone, you have a home, but you ain't making any money. So let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah, definitely. That was the biggest struggle was like, I mean, we were doing great things, but making $0. And so, that's whenever I was like, all right, I got to get out of this. This isn't for me. And that's whenever I started the marketing and branding company and started doing that for about 3.5 years, making decent money. COVID hit and that pretty much all went away.
It's crazy. Crazy, man. And then you're kind of floating around, find Josh, and then Josh introduces you to us. And so tell us now. So now let's fast forward. So convention hits. Here we are a few months later. What's happened in Spencer's, Josh is on my mind because I've talked to him like 10 times, but what's happened in Spencer's life since convention?
Yeah, definitely. So it has been an incredible growth experience for me. I've grown up a lot. Even the people in this company, Jamie, Josh, they can already tell a difference in the person that I am now versus the person I was 3 or 4 months ago. Just because this is a lot of hard work. And I thought I had a good work ethic until I joined FFL and seeing everybody and how hard they're working. I was like, oh no, I need to up this a whole lot. And so it's been a huge growth experience for me. Tons of highs, tons of lows. I've had some really big submit weeks and a lot of really low submit weeks also. And that's a lack of activity. All those weeks I can go back and look and I can just say that it's a lack of activity during those weeks. So activity is the number one thing because then you get back-to-back 13K weeks whenever you actually do the activity.
It's cool. It's cool when that works out like that. So let's talk about so in Nashville, what kind of leads are you running there?
Yeah. So personally, I started out on instant internet leads and I was actually really scared to do the mortgage protections. I got the final expense pretty much down. I was like pretty confident in the home and I was just terrified to actually do any mortgage protections. And Jamie texted me one day and was like, hey, leads are buy per lead is open in your county. I was like, oh goodness. And so I actually ended up getting on a buy per lead for Davidson County for mortgage protection. And that was my very first time calling mortgage protections. And ever since then, I love the 1 month, 2 month, and 3 month old with or without image from the CRM. I love those so much.
I want to know something funny? I was terrified of mortgage as well. Terrified. You know why? And it might be the same reason as you. Is I didn't own a house and I really didn't know how a mortgage worked. And I was like, if I got to go there and talk about mortgages, like they're going to think I'm stupid and they're not going to buy this insurance from me. And I don't want to. So I literally would I'd go on quickenloans.com and look at their blogs and try to learn about different type of loans. And it was just, and then I go in the appointment. I'm like, it has nothing to do with mortgages at all.
Nothing.
You're using it. So for to clear the air for you, you're using the mortgage as a reason to insure. Why don't I let you stress it? How do you describe mortgage protection?
Yeah. So mortgage protection for me, a lot of the people in my county are actually 60 or 70 years old. So it actually becomes even easier to help those families in those situations because you're not covering the entire mortgage and it's not like $400 or $500. What I'm doing is I'm doing 12, 18, or 36 months of mortgage payments.
Nice.
And so giving them a reason of why they're actually purchasing this and all the benefits behind it it makes it so much easier being able to do that. I was really fearful of how much money it was because I was taking my own perspective, my own budget and my own life and putting that on to the client whenever I was in the home with the mortgage protections for a while. It's like, oh man, this is $180. I don't even know if I'd want to afford this. And they could see that. But whenever I started taking that out and I was like, well, I see your budget right here. This is something that you could afford. And this is how it's going to help you protect your family. It made it a no brainer for me. So it's really that perspective of how I see the in-home for mortgage protections now.
I love it, dude. That's great. So you pivoted to mortgage and that's when a lot of things, or you added on, then you also run the age. So you have plenty of leads to have in your area to get appointments from.
Yes. I supplement a lot with the instance because a lot of the reasons I love the mortgage protection so much is they're easier door knocks. as well. So in between appointments, whenever I have the time, if I'm not calling new hires or anything like that, not helping an agent, I can go door knock those. And since it has their handwriting on it, they're always like, oh yeah, perfect, come on in. Or yeah, well, how about 6 o'clock this evening? So that's another really big reason I love the mortgage protections, is because they're a lot easier to door knock.
Sure. That's great, man. Yeah. I mean, how many are in the CRM right now? Hundreds of thousands nationwide. We picked up. So the way that works is there's other vendors that don't specifically contract with us, but past 30 days, they have the right to sell their leads to us. And so we buy as many as we can, and we buy up this vendor's leads who has a contract with another IMO, who their agents aren't as good as us and their comps aren't as high as us. So they don't do as hard, they don't work as hard as we do. But the vendor has only a 30-day contract with said IMO, and at 31 days they sell them to us, and now we pick them up for $250, and life's good at FFL. So let's keep going. So let's talk about, you're now producing continuously, big weeks, big month, good month. Let's talk about dialing. So what is your kind of dial schedule?
Definitely. So Monday and Thursdays, unless like last weekend, we had a summer sales conference actually here in Nashville. And so I dialed on Sunday and right before convention on Monday morning. So usually it's, 7:30, 8 o'clock, Monday and Thursday until I book my appointment.
Cool. And what's your goal? Is it 250 or 15? Is it, 20? I like it.
20 per dial session. Just the biggest thing is everybody keeps on saying like, put your number higher. And whenever I get to like 14 and I need 6 more versus 1 more, I keep on pushing a lot more. So I haven't hit the 20 yet, but that is always the goal. So I'm usually trying to hit that 16, 17 mark every Monday and Thursday.
Here's a question you get from new agents a lot. What are the times you book your appointments at? Like what
do you mean? Like
do you have it like
for the next day?
Yeah. Is it a 9? Is it a 9:45? Like what are your, do you have it stacked out? What are your times you book your day with?
Yeah. So I actually started using what Peter Unger does, and he actually puts everything in zip code. And so he dials all the same zip codes pretty much in a row. And so a lot of times I don't really ask the morning or afternoon. I just start trying to book at the very beginning of the morning. So I say 7:45 or 8:15. Most people pick the 8:15. And so I always use the 45 and 15 marks. I don't book on the hour every hour. I do the 15 and 40% mark or time marks, just because I really want them to understand that it's not going to take longer than 15 to 45 minutes. As long as they don't ask a bunch of questions, like Sean Mike says, it's going to be 15 or 45 minutes if they don't ask too many questions.
I love that. So then it's just throughout the day, 8:15, 9:15, 10:15, 11:15, just roll.
Yeah. I try to book one every single on the hour.
Every single.
Yeah. So my routine is set up. That's something I kind of have on here that I'm going to talk about in just a little bit, but my routine is super set up. So I actually have a lunchbox with like little meal prep stuff. And, I'm not going to stop at a gas station to try to heat up some food. So I have like hummus, a bunch of fruit, a bunch of veggies, pita bread. I got a protein shake and a protein bar and 4 water bottles. Plus I keep waters in my car. And so I have that in my car. It keeps it cold, especially with this summer heat in Nashville right now. It gets pretty hot in the car after an appointment. So I actually keep that. And I set that up the night before. So I get all the little boxes ready. I put everything in there, ready to rock and roll. So whenever I get back from the gym in the morning, I shower, grab my stuff, and I roll out.
That's good, man. It's good. You sound like you had some other stuff you wanted to share. That was what else you have. That was
definitely.
Great. No, I'd love you to flow, man. You're
Perfect. So one of my biggest things for advice for agents is preparation and perspective. One of the big things that I have loved, and everybody's probably heard this, Matt Smith, it's the Handling Objections podcast with Paul. He says prior preparation prevents poor performance. He also goes to say failure to prepare is actually preparing to fail. And so I've really taken that to heart since, at the very beginning, the first 3 months were like really difficult because like I didn't have a routine set in. So I was like, cool, like whenever I wake up, I'll start dialing. 8:30 rolls around. And whenever I heard Matt Smith say that prior preparation prevents poor performance, it really put in perspective how much I need to prepare. And so down to my lunchbox, down to like my leads printed out, everything is in. I have in my Excel tracking sheet, I actually have my routines every single day in there that I track. And so I make sure that everything's done, whether it's getting my bag ready, printing out all of my leads, getting the folders set up, making sure that I have everything in my iCalendar with the address. So it shows me my travel time in between appointments. So that, you know, if it's a 45-minute travel time to my next appointment and I book them pretty close, that gives me more of a reason to make sure that the family that I'm sitting with is interested in getting life insurance whenever I sit down with them. So I don't waste a lot of time in home. And that's just helped me tremendously not be so late to appointments like I used to be a lot. I would be 45 minutes, an hour and a half late all day long. But whenever I figured out that, hey, I have 8 other families that I need to help today, and you're just sitting here laughing at the fact that I'm here, sorry, I'm going to go to my next appointment.
Yeah.
And so setting up my routines is, you know, I have my methodology and I have my routines. So I have my run day routines. I have my dial day routines. If I don't get 20 appointments, I have my routines for what I'm going to do the next day. When I put in my schedule, if I'm going to door knock, I put in which houses I'm going to door knock. So I prepare everything so that tomorrow I don't have to think about anything, because I want to be able to focus on the families that I'm sitting with, the people that I'm going to door knock, the hires that I'm working with, the agents that I've hired. My team's small right now, but I want to do everything I can to make sure that whenever they start and that they're going to crush it whenever they join. And so, yeah.
That's great, dude. That's great. You know how you were able to share all that? It's because you're actively working and you're going through the motions and you're finding out what doesn't work and you're finding out what works better for you. And to get so prepared the night before, because what happens is in the morning, sometimes I go long at the gym and then I got to pack my bag real fast. And I don't I forget the pita bread and I'm licking the hummus out of the cup versus actually eating the pita bread. And you prepare. You're preparing yourself to be able to go and have a low stress, focused morning, that there isn't a bunch of baggage in your head while you're trying to go sit in the house and you think about what didn't get done or what you forgot, or, you know, I got a full day and it's hot out and I forgot my water bottles. Like you prepare your papers, you prepare everything. And that's what top producers do. They prepare. And I love the quotes you lined out earlier, but that's great advice, because it's the thing it's those little secret things. And we actually don't even talk about it. Hey, put the address in iCal and you tap it and then it takes you, and like my phone would pop up and be like, you need an hour and 56 minutes. And I'm like, are they going to buy or not? Because otherwise I'm going. And if they're not buying, all right, well, I'm going to eat now. Or if they are buying, like, and you can just, your phone's just letting you know, like your phone dictates today. Like, no, I got to go, Betty. Like, are we moving forward or not? Because I got an appointment in 45 and it takes me 37
Exactly.
minutes. So they got me booked all day. They, you know, what most people do, those type of lines create pressure with the client. So I love it, dude. What are any final advice you've got to the new agents who are looking to follow in Spencer Berry's footsteps?
Yeah, definitely. So the second thing I would say with preparation is perspective. The definition of perspective is actually a particular attitude towards something. So what is your attitude towards your manager, the lead, the client, yourself, your goals, what you want to do in this company? Like, what is your perspective on those? Like, are you wanting to go all in, or are you wanting to do part-time? What is it? And so my perspective is trusting the process. That took me about 2 months to actually sit here and trust. And it was from personal baggage, not trusting. And so whenever I finally started trusting Sean, trusting Grady, trusting Jamie, trusting that these leads are, someone actually filled them out. Nobody's sitting behind and just filling out a bunch of leads and being like, ha, 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 I got them. Like, they're going to pay $11 for this lead and never, that's not real. Like, and that was stuff that was going through my head, you know, and that's not. And I just have so much trust in this process, in Sean, in Grady, in Jamie, because every single time that something's come up that I'm like, oh man, it's been fixed, or it's gotten better. Like the underwriting genies, you know, we're growing very, very fast, and the underwriting genies was something that came out of, we weren't expecting that. And I just thank you so much for that, because that's helped me in home a lot of times. They've already paved the way. And then the second thing is perspective of who you are. You're a licensed professional. They didn't go through the class, you did. And your confidence and your perspective of who you are is why you should go into the home and say, hey, I'm the field underwriter, I'm the agent, and I'm here to help you because I know exactly like that you filled this out, that you're looking for life insurance or mortgage protection, and I'm here to help you. And that is something that's really been put in perspective for me, is that like I love being able to help these families. I've sat in some homes that it's really sad. If they don't have life insurance whenever I leave, I'm scared to know what's going to happen to these families.
Yeah. It makes you want to get better. You're like, how do I overcome every objection? Because that wife is going to be well when her jerk husband dies, because he's a jerk. And for some reason I couldn't break through, but she doesn't deserve this financial obliteration that's going to hit. And it's just tough. It makes you want to get better. You're like, I need to overcome. Yeah. I'm going to figure out, John, I'm coming back in 3 months and we're doing this. And Mary, we got to follow up. We've got a book. Seems like you don't want coverage today, but they have me back out here in 90 days. Dude, I'd book them for the future. Yep. And it would just try to get better.
My last big, like, this is massive, is join Live Dials. This business can be a very lonely business. If you do not get plugged in, get on Live Dials. Show your face, unmute. This place, it's another one of those perspectives. Nobody's here to judge you. If someone is judging you while you're on the calls, they're most likely not going to be here in a month or 2 months.
No one successful is judging you. If there's someone
no one successful is judging you.
Losers judge.
Exactly.
There's support. So no one's judging you. That matters.
And like we said at the very beginning, this is a family, and I truly believe that. Like, I have met some absolutely incredible people already in this company that are going to be lifelong friends. That's awesome. I believe, and so lifelong partners, honestly. And so it's been really cool. And so the last little question I like to say is, in my in-home, whenever I'm leaving, I stand up, I have my clipboard, and I write one more thing down. It's kind of my tie down in the home that's been working really, really well. And the question is, I asked him, I said, hey, if you could share anything with the entire world, what would that one quote be? And like, as I'm walking out, so I don't get caught up in a whole conversation, I just ask him that one question. If you had one thing to share with the entire world, what would that be? And it puts them in a space of like, oh, wow. Like, like if I had one thing to share before I leave. And so that's been able to help me kind of tie down some appointments and get out quick.
What have you heard? What was your favorite response? What was don't leave me on the edge of my seat here.
What's your
favorite response?
So far, my favorite response was this old gentleman. He had like 300 fishing poles in his apartment. And he said, I want you to tell my daughter this, that whenever I pass away and you deliver that. She said, I've gone fishing. That's all he said. But some people are like, get your ish together. I've heard some pretty provocative stuff. It's just cool to see what these people say, first off. And then it's a great way to get out the house instead of sitting there talking to them. Sure. I get up with my clipboard still in hand. What's the one thing that you'd like to say to the entire world?
Leaves them in a very positive, state of thought and giving.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Spencer, you're rolling, bro. Don't let up. You got talent, skill, ability. Now you just need you keep that motivation, trident at the back and keep poking you to keep pushing you forward, man. You can do big things here. I'm excited to cheer you on and see you continue to succeed and grow. So thank you so much for joining us today.